This video is sponsored by Knife Maker Plus, a monthly membership that will level up your knife making. In this video, we're gonna get our 5 integral blades ready for handles. So we need to grind the integral bolsters, get those all rounded. We need to get the clips ground in, get the clips sanded, and get my maker's mark in. I just spent almost a whole day grinding on the bolster areas and the spine of each one of my 5 blades here. That took about twice as long as expected, as usual. Grinding right up in this choil area is really tricky, getting all this shaped. So that took a lot of time. This was just kind of a rectangle shape at the beginning of the day. I've got them all shaped. They're pretty much ready for hand sanding. I have one more little thing I marked out here on the choil area. I have this nice straight line where the edge goes, but I want that nice straight line with a little bit of this curve. So I put a little bit of a mark in the same position on all 5 of them. And now I'm gonna go grind that little tiny curve on the very, very tip of that choil. After that, I'll be able to hand sand the bolster and spine area. And then the only thing else we'll have to do on the blades before we can start doing the handles is grinding in the clips. I wanna get those clips ground in and get those hand sanded a little bit too before we move on to the handles. I just said that forward and then I said it backwards. Here's one of the blades with that choil rounded over ever so slightly. I really like the look of it, and you can see the material I removed compared to the other blade over here that kind of just comes straight down. Just took a little bit off right in here and kind of rounded it all over. I just finished grinding in one of the clips, and even though these are really small clips, it turns out they're pretty challenging. I probably spent as much time grinding this clip as I would a clip on like a 10H buoy. And that's because it just fought me a bunch as I was going through it. Sometimes they go really smooth, sometimes they just don't want to cooperate, and this one wasn't. Ended up getting everything nice and even, and it looks really good. Part of what made it challenging is it has these abrupt stops on it that look really cool, but they also have this nice little radius, and they need to line up perfectly and not be all cattywampus, you know, have one side going further than the other down the spine. So getting it all nice and even kept taking a long time. I kind of played around using my plunge grinding jig to get the radius exactly the same and to get that lined up, and kept going back and forward to different sanding belts and everything. I finally got it, and now we've got to do the other 4 knives. I'm hoping they go smoother than this one though. Otherwise I'm gonna be doing clip grinding all day long. Because these clips have this nice little radius right where the clip stops, I'm gonna use my plunge grinding platen. So this is just the platen that I normally use to clean up my plunge grinds. Of course, not on these integrals because they're a little bit different. But anyway, on my regular knives, and it's basically just a flat plate, and the belt goes across it and goes around this corner, and this corner has like a 3/16 to 1/4 inch radius, and then that leaves a really nice radius in my plunge cuts. So I'm just gonna put a 220 grit belt on here, run it at a real slow speed, and be really careful to stand out of the way in case the belt grabs it. Want to always be ready for the blade to get kicked this way. I've got a little scribe line on here, and I can just lightly grind up to it on one side, work the other side up to it, and then I'll know the radius is exactly the same on both sides and that it stops at the exact same spot on both sides, so everything's nice and symmetrical. And if you really have a good scribe line and you go right up to it, you technically don't even need to like check it and make sure it looks good. Although I definitely still check it and make sure it looks good. I'm gonna pop this belt on here. The key to this is to not have too much tension on it at all. So I'm not using Broadbeck's tensioning system for this really in the way that it's meant to be used normally. The way I'm doing it is complete slack absolute complete slack. I'm not pushing down on this because this will put way too much pressure on it. To get less pressure than what this would do, I just pull on the attachment. And I could pull on it and kind of put the tension that I want on there and then lock it in place. And then it's got about the tension I want. And I can play around with that. If it's a little too tight, I can just pull on it a little less. But you can see this cylinder still hasn't even activated yet, because that would just be way too much pressure. Because you gotta remember, this belt's going around this super tight radius. And for the most part, that's not really hard on the belt, except for the seam. The seam is where it's really, really hard on the belt because it's extra thick right there. And that is gonna make your blade bounce a little bit too because of that seam going around there. I pretty much only use J-Flex belts for this. In fact, you can only use J-Flex, but I also really prefer the Klingspor J-Flex belts just because they have this seam. The seam is kind of a waffled seam instead of just a straight seam, and it seems to hold up better. Going around this radius than your traditional just straight seam. Although every once in a while, one of these will break apart on me. I just finished up with the remaining 4 knives, grinding in this plunge cut area. I've got them all nice and even, and I used a pair of dividers to check right up in here and make sure that I was grinding down about the same distance on each side. I want to make sure this grind line comes down to about the same place, so the dividers is a really good way to check that. I didn't use the plunge grinding attachment to clean up the rest of the clip. I did that on the first one and it just caused problems. I was accidentally grinding down further than I wanted to here, and it kind of rounded the tip off and weird stuff like that. So I just focused on the plunge areas with the plunge grinding attachment, and then I'm gonna clean up the rest of this with the Game Changer belts from Broadbeck. They have a really, really thick backer on them, and they're kind of for surface finishing. So I'll probably go over it with the 120. I might go over it with the 220 and 320 as well, see kind of how I'm feeling, but the 120 will help me clean up these 36 grit scratches that are on here and just do some minor tweaks to the clip in between here and the tip. I'm done grinding all the clips. They're looking really good. It's time to get them hand sanded. I'm probably gonna need to go through with 220, then 320, and then 600, and we'll do the last grits later after all the handles finish and everything. I'm gonna rig it all up right here in my vise. I got the swivel vise set up so I can easily access both sides and just take them on up through the different stages of grits. You'll also notice I have a piece of metal. It's actually a file with some tape wrapped around it. I have it clamped in the vise as well, and that way the blade's not just sticking out in the open here to stab me or somebody else that comes along and scares me, or whatever might happen if I go inside to the house or anything. Don't want anybody accidentally walking into it and hitting their heart. Is your heart right there somewhere? I feel like it's right at heart level. I just got done hand sanding the clips on all 5 of these. That ended up taking a while. I had some little dips and everything. Ended up having to go back to the grinder and clean them up a little bit more with some finer sanding belts. I got them all sanded though to 600 grit. And the last thing we need to do on these blades before they're ready to start working on the handles is to put my maker's mark in there. So I've got my K. Royer MS. It's gonna go right here on the blade, and I'm gonna electrochemically etch that in. So we're just gonna use some electricity and some electrolyte and a stencil and a piece of felt. Yes, that's what it's called, felt. It'll basically etch out the, anywhere the stencil has cutouts, it'll etch away the metal underneath, and it's really cool. Every minute or two, I'm gonna lift the stencil up and clean out the area we're etching with a Q-tip, just to get rid of all the black soot that's there, and then I'll keep etching until it's deeper and deeper. It'll take 5 or 8 minutes or so total to get each one etched in. So my sister Anna just stopped by and gave us some yummy treats. So cappuccino break. Oh, that's sweet. Just got done etching all 5 marks in, and now I'm gonna darken them with some brass black, even though it's not really necessary because the etching will probably remove it later when we etch the Damascus blades. But I wanna see how everything looks for now, so I'm gonna darken it and then sand off all the blotchy stuff around there, and we'll be able to see how they look finished up. I got all the names darkened up with some brass black and sanded over them with some 600 grit just to clean everything up and really see how they look. They all look really nice and crisp, really deep. So I think we're ready to move on. So in the next video, it's time to start working on 5 handles for these 5 blades. I wanna tell you about Knife Maker Plus. Knife Maker Plus is a monthly membership where I show you in depth every single month how I make my knives from start to finish. Our first project is a 10-inch mosaic Damascus recurve buoy. Be sure to check out the link in the description to find out more about Knife Maker Plus. So I will see you in the next video. May the forge be with you. Bye-bye.